Welcome to a Dead Squirrel in the Woods Productions. I am your host, Nicholas, and this is a special installment. There wasn't an episode planned to drop this week, but since I went and saw the movie M3GAN this past weekend, I thought this was a good chance to look at the movie and do some research into AI, or artificial intelligence, in its current state, where it's going, and what are some of the good and the bad. So, M3GAN is a movie where the cast must contend with a killer doll. This is a different kind of killer doll, though. This isn't your Chucky or your Annabelle. This one is a computerized one. It's programmed to be a companion, and in this movie, she's companioned with a little girl who lost her parents in a car accident, and goes on and ends up living with her aunt, who works for a tech company. Now, this aunt is Aunt Gemma, who is played by Allison Williams. She's known for Get Out, a series of unfortunate events, and The Perfection. Now, Gemma is a robotist for a toy company, Funky. She is working on a secret project that she thinks is going to be a game changer. And this is an AI doll named M3GAN. Now, her boss has her and her team working on making like a Furby-looking virtual pet thing that can talk and poop and eat, and it was a little interesting, but they want another company is coming out with the same thing because the patent is up or something. They're able to make it cheaper, so it costs less from this company, and her boss wants her to make it cheaper. Now, her and the little girl is Caddy, and in the start of the movie, she's actually driving or riding with her parents, and she's got the toy that her Aunt Gemma did send her, and her parents make a comment that she has to put it away because she's reached her screen time or this or that, and so, and they're up front talking about how they don't like that. Basically, that Gemma sent this to their daughter, and yada yada yada, and that she just sent that because that's easy to send because that's what she's working on, stuff like that. Now, they're heading up to go up in the snow and in a blizzard, and they can't see, and they get hit by a semi, pretty much. Which Caddy survives, and she ends up being orphaned. Now, she goes to live with her Aunt Gemma, who is not prepared to take care of a girl at this point in time. She's single, doesn't have any kids. So social services is coming in and doing their assessments, and they have to pass all these things for this to work. Well, M3GAN's kind of a workaholic, or Gemma's a workaholic, so she pairs M3GAN with this prototype, or she pairs this prototype M3GAN with Caddy to be her friend. Now, she starts to rely on her for everything, and this gets to be problematic. She gets very attached to this AI doll, and Caddy is played by Violet McGraw. She's also known for The Haunting of Hill House and Sleep Doctor. So, now M3GAN. M3GAN stands for Model 3 Generative Android, an AI doll that has emergent capabilities to make it a breakthrough. M3GAN is able to listen and grow and far exceeding her parameters to a point that is deadly. Now, two actresses are used for this. There's an Amy Donald, known for Sweet Tooth. I don't know what that is. But she is the one who provides the physical movement of M3GAN. And Jenna Davis. She's known for Treehouse Detectives, Raven's Home, and she's the voice. So, now as the movie goes, M3GAN evolves and becomes more dangerous, killing the neighbor's dog, eventually the neighbor, and it just gets worse and worse. A boy picks on Caddy, and M3GAN ends up chasing the boy, and he ends up in the street and gets hit by a vehicle, but it doesn't kill him. Of course, Gemma starts suspecting M3GAN, brings it up to M3GAN. She starts trying to take control from M3GAN, and it eventually gets so bad that Gemma's afraid, so she actually shuts M3GAN down. But M3GAN has evolved to the point where she is in control of herself and is able to turn back on, and she comes after Caddy and Gemma. And also during the movie, within the company, they're testing this and bringing it up to their board and how can they release this, stuff like that. And in the end, when she does wake up, she escapes the facility, ends up at Gemma's house. There's a big end fight scene. Caddy chooses her aunt and turns on M3GAN. And the two, Caddy and Gemma, walk out of the house. And there's a Amazon type device, Google type device that activates as they're out to give you the hint that maybe there's another movie coming. So they're good at that. And actually, it has been green-lighted. There is actually going to be another movie. So we'll see. Now, I enjoyed this movie. It did make me wonder about the current state of AI. Like, you got your Amazon, Google, and your Apple assistants and voice devices. I would go as far as to say our cell phones are AI. They can track the things we do and, log our habits and suggest things to us. So, and information now is at our hands anytime we want to access it. We don't have to go to an encyclopedia or some of you listening probably don't remember encyclopedias, but and how far are we and what effects has it had on our society? Now, AI has been in pop culture for years. I remember back to 2001: A Space Odyssey, HAL 9000. What about now back in 2013, there was a science fiction drama called Her that had a main character fall in love with a virtual assistant. I watch Star Wars and Star Trek. There's robots, androids all over on those shows. Now, we're not going to get into which one's better. There was the Borg in Star Trek, So now in the real world, AI is part of every aspect of our lives. With the smart devices we have, this leads to the question, when are we not in control? When are the machines running us? And what effect does it have on us? Well, one positive effect is productivity will increase with tasks being done by robots instead of employees doing it by hand, so you can get a consistent speed and rhythm. Now, this does, in some cases, mean less people to do a task. Now, I work in a place where I have 4 or 5 robots, and they move everything, and I just have a piece of material that starts the job and it goes to a finished part. So that would take 5 people to run if I didn't have robots. Now, this is good for companies because they can operate with less people, but this also can be harmful to the job market. But they can also minimize doing dangerous tasks that have caused injury in the past or death, whatever it may be. AI has also helped in making advancements in the medical field. Procedures that used to be complicated are now routine. So, excuse me, there's good and there's bad. Now, as AI advances, as AI has advanced, we have become lazier. We have vacuums that you can program to vacuum, and you don't have to get up and vacuum. So we can't imagine not having these devices as well. Then, now you got your cell phone. Have you left your cell phone home accidentally? How do you feel when you don't have it? You probably feel like weird, right? Like something's missing. Okay, that's normal. Think about. I kind of actually like disconnecting, but if you have it for a long period of time gone, you feel disconnected from everything, right? Because you don't have that information right at your fingertips. Now think about this: cars are computerized. You have backup cameras. It's crazy. You can sync your phone to it, talk through a speaker. Everything's hands-free, which is good for cars because when you're driving, you want to be hands-free. Now, but compare that to 10 to 20 years ago. Now, okay, cars can also be self-driven. They don't need us. There's companies out there trying to make or have made cars that will drive you somewhere, and you don't even have to drive. You just get in the car, you put it in there, and it uses satellites. So, yeah, that's just crazy. Now, will we ever get to the point that we have a robot like M3GAN or like Rosie on the Jetsons? She's a little bit more on the safer side. But, and would we want that? Would we want a robot, artificial intelligent robot, taking care of our children? Would that be beneficial for us? So we could go to work or this or that? What about as your parents get older? Would you entrust your parents to the care of an artificial robot? I mean, that's just something to think about. That's something that I would think you would do yourself. But now, as AI grows, it is also collecting more info on us. And it can track and follow where you go. So this is being used at a government level. Where is this information going? Who uses it and what do they use it for? Now, that's a security risk. There are also security risks with the social networks and data that are being collected. Your online billing, all this data is able to be taken. Now, when do we go too far? And when an AI takes over? And is there a scenario where that ever happens? Or is that just science fiction? That's a little bit something to think about there. I think it's science fiction, and there's always going to be some things redo for ourselves, and hopefully robot artificial intelligence needs us to program it, not goes rogue, and that we ever get to the point where it can think for itself. That would be, I don't know what would happen there. So, but this has been a Dead Squirrel in the Woods Productions. Thank you for joining me for this special movie episode. That just a random episode, but we are on Facebook. Be sure to check us out there. You can find if you go to our webpage, you can communicate with us and leave us a message on there if there's any topics you want to do. This was edited and produced by me. And be sure to follow us on YouTube, Spotify, or iHeartRadio, or all three. And thank you for listening, and be sure to tune in next week for some more on the Apostle Islands.